I'm thrilled to have with us on this segment Saïd Eastman, who's the owner of Jobs in MA. Saïd, welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be here and happy to be on the show.
Well, you know, your presence on the show couldn't be more timely, because I think those who are regular viewers of the TV show may say, you know, there goes Murray again. But the single biggest issue that we hear from our chamber member businesses on a constant basis is workforce. It's talent development. It's a talent pipeline. Your work in that regard is working in trying to bring together companies of all different sizes and potential employees. Maybe you want to just give us a little overview of your company.
Sure. So Jobs in MA is one of our 51 sites in the country. We have a network of 50 sites, one for each state, plus Washington, D.C. They all aggregate on a larger brand called Jobs in the U.S. So for all intents and purposes, we're an Uber job board. So we connect any industry to job seekers that are looking for it, except we do it a little differently. Our niche is geography, so we try to focus on recruitment at a local level. And the reason we do it that way is we feel that that is really how people really start to look for work. They start to look where they currently live, where their partner resides and works, where their kids go to school, where it does the least amount of harm when you have to change careers or you have to look. The benefit to employers is really about assimilation. It's easier for employers to onboard local individuals as opposed to have to educate somebody about the school system, the infrastructure,
right,
real estate, and all the other things that go along with it. So that's really our niche. We've been at it for 20 years. We're based out of Portland, Maine. That's our home office, our home headquarters. But Massachusetts has been a primary player in our market. But we haven't really made as much of a push as we should be, because there have been other players in the industry that have had a stronger presence in Massachusetts. So now we're really trying to focus on the communities that I believe have been left out of the growth opportunity in the recruitment space. So we focus on Worcester,
right,
we focus on Springfield, the Brockton and South Shore, we focus on Lowell. We basically create a horseshoe around the metro city of Boston.
So Saïd, you said something which makes a lot of sense. Knowledge is power, and the ability for an employee who's hired to be able to hit the ground running and being successful, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, is enhanced if they've got a familiarity of the area. So, before we went on air, you used the word hyperlocal. So some respects, I mean, you do kind of a hyper-local service trying to connect employers with potential employees in that region to make sure you're maximizing your search in the region before you have to go outside.
Correct. I mean, it's not that national searches are not important. I believe that in order to create the best workforce, you start off by creating a great local brand. So whether it's being a member of your chamber, whether it's advertising consistently within the community you do business, but that's what creates the brand. And then at that point, once you create that brand, the job seekers that are in the area that basically can help your business grow are available to you. The question is, are you reaching them? And a lot of people forget that hyper-local and locally doing work, and it's like investing in your community, is really a great way to grow your business. And so that's why we really think it's the best strategy for us.
Yeah, and so, if there's a business out there, or if you're an employee looking, they go on a website. Maybe you can walk us through how people can utilize the service.
We're a traditional job board model. So employers come and advertise on our site, and they pay for that. They pay for that service. And the nice part about it is you have a large swath of real estate to basically put together a great job description, and the job description is more of a selling advertisement of your business as to why people should come and work for you. Job seekers basically create an account, submit their resume into the system that is searchable by employers. They can also get job alerts about what opportunities are available. All this information is very simply done on either a jobsintheus.com site, where they can then transfer to any one of our state sites, or they can go directly to jobsinma.com and see how it's done. The process is really simple. It's very intuitive. And the nice part about what we're trying to do is, I think our pricing model also, how we do things, is very much of a local nature. So we have what we call job slots, which basically you're renting out a piece of real estate for a duration of time, and within that period of time, you can swap any opportunities that you want. So in other words, if you do it for 30 days, you can advertise for 2 weeks a sales position,
Right.
and then for another 2 weeks, you can advertise a customer service position, all within the same ad. So it makes your money go a little further.
Yeah, no, that's important. And, I would think, for a large cross-section of companies, for example, at the Chamber, approximately 2,100 members, the vast majority of those are small businesses. The owner is the HR department.
Yeah.
And you may not have the expertise, the ability to market. And so this is something that, for businesses of all sizes, but certainly businesses of small, medium size, is really kind of a force multiplier.
Absolutely. So what's interesting is 80% of our customers are under 100 employees, right? And that's across any of the markets that we do business in. The other part is you're spot on in saying that small businesses, the owner is the head of HR, is the head of payroll, and in some cases they're also dealing with the problems, the head of
Right.
customer service as well. But at the same time, when you think about recruiting, most small businesses don't really think about recruiting until there's an absolute need, which is
Right.
very reactive. And I think where large companies succeed is because they have the resources to be more proactive, to create a pipeline of candidates. And I believe that even small businesses have the wherewithal to create that pipeline and do it in a slow fashion. In other words, you're not looking to create a big giant funnel effect of job seekers coming to your company, but you're trying to create an interest. So advertising once a quarter consistently throughout the year that you are an employer of choice within the community you work is a good thing. And advertising for candidates is also advertising your company. So in other words, yes, the main point or the spear of that arrow is targeted towards recruitment, but along the way, the brand gets out there.
There's a brand awareness
and keeping
aspect to it. Yeah,
and
it's a great
keeping
point.
and keeping that brand out there is really important for the businesses.
So when we were getting ready to come on, so we've talked about how people can interface, via technology, advertising on the website, being able to get the word out. And one of the things it sounds like you're very attuned to is sometimes the prospective employee and the company don't really even meet. That's maybe the last piece. It's very antiseptic. It's not, and you used a term, the humanized recruitment process. So talk
Absolutely.
about how you try to coach your employer customers or advertising kind of to engage with the prospective employee.
So we serve two audiences. One is the employer market or the employer audience. The other is the job seeker audience. When I talk to job seekers, I always advise as if I were advising my own children in the search process, right? For looking for a job, it's make sure you do your homework. Look at the companies that you're looking to work for, and figure out why you want to work for them, and then apply actively, apply to one position at a time, and then wait for a response. If you don't get a response, react by sending another communication of your interest to that specific position. In other words, if you apply to too many positions, people might perceive it as you have no idea what you really want, right? On the employer side, I always recommend to employers to say, look, you know what? Look at your employment process. If it's 9 pages long, it's too long. If it takes somebody longer than 5 minutes to complete a form, it's too much, right? And in some cases, what we've done is because we've made it so easy for people to advertise online, it's created a funnel effect, in which case you're getting a flood of candidates. And when that flood of candidates occurred, an awful lot of technology has come into the middle between the job seeker who's looking for the job and the employer who's looking to hire. So there's the applicant tracking system, which is the CRM for the recruitment side of the house. Then there's the assessments. Then there's the apply process. And then somebody lands on your career, somebody lands on a job board, then they go to your career site to apply. Well, that's two different sites that they landed on. That's not a very compelling and welcoming experience for recruitment. It should be something where you're looking to hire people, you put an ad out, when they hit that button that they're interested in your company, they land in one single spot. So in other words, the process has to have some humanity. The other thing that's really important is there's always a need for assessment, whether it's skill assessments or personality assessments in the process. The question is where in the process.
Right.
If you use assessment as a way to filter out, you're taking the humanity out of the process. In other words, you're not even giving an opportunity for somebody to talk with you. And when you have people in front of you, that is part of the assessment.
You know, and I think that's you're onto something here 100%, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, I never even got a call back. I never even heard from them. And to your point that you made earlier, you know, when a company advertises, this isn't just about advertisers seeking applicants to apply for jobs. This isn't just about filling. You're also you're advertising your company, and how you handle those prospective employees, whether you hire them or not, is a touch point how they're going to perceive your company.
Yep. Absolutely. You know, you look at, you know, we say you know, humanizing recruiting, but it's really just it's about basically treating people how you want to be treated. So if you're looking for work and you communicate with an employer, you want a response back.
Right.
Sometimes that neglection in the process is a negative impactor on your brand. If you do not communicate with people when they apply to your job and they show interest, you show a dismissiveness, you show a disregard for who they are. So when they're talking to their friends and they're saying, hey, how's your job search going? Well, I applied to XYZ company and I never heard back. I don't know what's going on over there,
right,
because somebody told me they were a decent place to go work. And so having an automated process or having a manual process. I mean, there was an article some time ago about some executive, I can't think of the name of the company, who wrote thank you notes to every one of his employees on an annual, or Christmas cards, I believe,
right,
on an annual basis. And I was like, you know what? It's a really thoughtful thing, you know,
right,
just to be able to do something. And that form of communication, I think, is lacking in the process because we've allowed technology to separate us. They're supposed to help us, but we've allowed it to basically intermediate us from the process.
And so that goes to kind of the next thing. You know, you're hired, you're working for a company, new employee, or maybe a long-term employee. It's also important for, and that note example is a good one. You know, how do you kind of retain, engage, and make your employees? And that's a piece of what you do. You know, stay involved, engaged, and excited about coming to work.
Well, you know, you said something which I think is really important. You said, you know, it's like the learning as you're working and learning about the process, right? So I look at how employers and job seekers interact with one another in all economic cycles. And so back in 2008, employers thought they had the upper hand, so there was an awful lot of layoffs. The labor pool was large, and a lot of times employers treated their employees in a negative way, meaning they basically overloaded them with work, didn't reward them enough. They thought they were beholden to them for a career. But the reality of it is this: when the market softened up a little bit and it became better, what happened to those employees that you had? They all jumped ship because they're like, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. So how you treat your existing workforce is as important as how you treat the people you're trying to market to and the candidates that you're trying to attract. So both sides work. And so I always talk about this idea of employees want to be rewarded, and I use the term the EVP, or employee value proposition. What is in it for the employee?
Right.
What is in it for the candidate? So if you educate your workforce, learn more to earn more, if you make that investment, it's tantamount to investing in a capital equipment purchase or servicing your machines. You service your machines. Why not take some money and invest it in your workforce? Give them a certification program. Create a program for them to learn online some technology, but at the same time, connect it to growth and to learning. You do that when you're talking with a job seeker. Your job seeker says, so tell me about tuition reimbursement. Tell me about benefits, and all of those things. Yes, but for the people that you have in-house, we don't do that as much. And I think as part of
let them know what's available.
And I think as part of retention and engagement, it's got to be both sides of your workforce, those you're trying to attract and those that you have that are there.
So, Saïd, we've covered a lot here, and this is like gold for a lot of our members in terms of trying to keep employees and attract them. How does, if someone is not a chamber member out there, that's the purpose of the show as well, to get to know about the chamber, but also what some of our member businesses have to offer. If someone's interested in contacting you and utilizing your company, how do they do that? So
really simple. They can, if they want to talk to any one of our sales team members, and we have 6 salespeople available to speak to any of them at any given point, they can reach us at sales@eastman.com. sales@jobsinma.com.
Sales at jobs.
In ma.com, and they can follow up with. They can also go onto jobsintheus.com and see our site. If they want to reach me directly, I'm always available to speak with any employer that's interested in getting some counsel on how to use best practices. They can reach me directly at Eastman@jobsintheus.com, and I'm always in Massachusetts and willing to speak with any employer or any organization that's willing to work with us.